Each and every one of us has an unlimited inner wellspring of spiritual power. You have the ability to transform, create, and heal anything upon which you set your heart and mind. Join me, Sarah Hall, as we learn how to uplift all aspects of your life through spiritual empowerment. Enjoy weekly guided meditations, spiritual discussions on a multitude of topics, and a chance to call in to receive channeled messages from the angels on your spiritual journey. I'm Sarah Hall, and this is Through the Eyes of the Angels.
Hi there. Thank you so much for tuning in to Through the Eyes of the Angels. I have so been looking forward to sharing with you because today we're going to be discussing the dream world with the help of the angels' insights and messages, of course. And this is such perfect timing to be discussing this topic because we're about to head into a full moon lunar eclipse on the 21st of January. The energy of this eclipse is highly activating for the crown chakra, which can make your dream world experiences extra vivid, powerful, rich with energetic shifts. So, with what we learn from the angels today, perhaps we can prepare ourselves to enter deep, conscious dream world experiences that will support the energy shifts of the eclipse. So as we go into this topic, it's important to ask the question, I think, what are dreams? We all have them. And science and psychology and religion and mystics have been trying to understand them for thousands of years. According to the angels, dreams are the places where angels, humans, even ancestors, loved ones in heaven, animal spirits, and all manner of beings may connect within the united web of consciousness. Dreams are the places where consciousness, in all of its riches and layers, lay sprawled out before us like an unending realm of stories. Now, human beings, for as long as we can remember, have always gravitated towards, and moreover, I think, needed the art of storytelling to help us understand this miraculous gift of consciousness that we have been given. Perhaps we could even say that stories and storytelling are part of what make us human. In our dreams, our minds become like a sophisticated storytelling machine. Every dream has some sense of a beginning, middle, and end. And even if it doesn't make sense, a sense of who the characters are, what the feelings are, perhaps what you desire, and how these experiences change or make an impression upon you are there. They are little stories that the vaster collective aspects of our consciousness tell us while we are sleeping to help us process the experience of consciousness, that draw forth and lean into the soul to help us answer our life's questions. Dreams are, in fact, according to the angels, from what I learned from them, inseparable from the collective shared state of consciousness within humanity that questions and yearns to discover and know. Dreams are inseparable from that part of us. Our consciousness, our soul, is constantly prodding us to ask about the deeper foundations of life. You see, the soul knows and remembers that there is something incredibly deep and meaningful to the rhythms of life. It knows that you incarnated here for a purpose, and that you are part of an even greater story that has been unfolding for eons. Soul is reaching through the cracks of the conscious mind every day and leaking out poetry. It is seeking to bridge the gap between what it knows in its eternal conscious connectedness to Source and what the conscious mind knows. Dreams are the very function of our soul within its deep subconscious realm where all the stories, symbols, songs, and poems, and ancestors, and spirits, and legends have traversed and made their mark. Through our dreams, soul is wandering and drawing the conscious mind into this unfathomable, infinite library of meaning and wisdom and sowing seeds so that we might know ourselves better, so that our longing to know something that our ordinary consciousness cannot yield might be answered, that the questions might be fulfilled. And we often have dreams where our subconscious mind seems to be soaking in the consciousness of some trickster priestess within the collective conscious spirit realm who gives you an experience in which maybe you find yourself vacuuming in a cathedral while hundreds of little frogs hop over you, or where you find yourself naked in your 4th grade classroom singing David Bowie songs at the top of your lungs, or maybe where you find yourself working hard to build sandcastles in the wind while magpies tell you riddles. I want to tell you that from what I've learned in working with the angels, even these dreams have some significance. Even the most absurd or even the most ordinary of dreams are functioning exactly as the presence of God within you intends them to, so that you may adjust, bend, balance, heal, grow, or expand your consciousness as your soul intends for you. I remember once, many years ago, I had awoken from a dream that was so strange. And to this day, the memory of the dream itself has mostly faded, but I remember waking up and thinking, angels, what in the world did that mean? Why would I dream such a thing? And they responded by showing me that while we are asleep at night, there is a part of our spirits that travel. We travel deep into the spirit world where we might learn, heal, adventure, and complete all manner of different purposes. Sometimes, the angels said to me in their sweet voices, sometimes the experiences you have in the spirit world are of such a high frequency. In other words, these experiences are the stuff of such a higher and different dimension than the 3D world in which your waking conscious is mostly situated, that the human brain starts to map and interpret these high vibrational experiences as whatever vibrational language it can most closely reach and understand. So if you find yourself, playing tennis with giraffes on a floating cake in the sky, according to the angels, it is likely that these were the symbols that could most closely language or express the vibrations that you were encountering in the dream world. These symbols and stories are your consciousness interpreting, remembering, and processing the important development, learning, or exploration that you needed to experience to help you, oddly enough, to experience more meaning, understanding, and synergy in your waking conscious experiences. Which probably leads us to the question, what about nightmares? What and why are they? We've all had nightmares in our lives. And when I asked the angels about why these exist, they explained very lovingly that these experiences are our complex human way of facing and learning how to shake off the presence of fear. Fear is one of the main ingredients of what we might consider the ego, if we're defining the ego, as many spiritualists do, as a network of identity and perspective within our consciousness that perceives us to be separate from Source and one another, thereby creating all of the seemingly negative things that we experience, the judgments, the anxiousness, the suspicion, the sadness, the anger, frustration, etc. According to the angels, the institution of fear within human consciousness is a passing phase. Just like any phase that you might see a baby or a little child go through in her natural development, fear is a byproduct of our current evolutionary era of consciousness as human beings, and it's temporary. It is our reaction to our growing pains on the journey to awakening God's highest presence, which is, in other words, our highest presence of love, unity, harmony, creativity, and knowingness while we are here in this physical dimension. And before you let yourself get upset at the idea that we should have to experience fear at all, just remember that according to the angels, we chose to be in this world from a place of love, love that's so magnanimous and transcendent of every limited human thought that it creates miracles. This realm, this waking world, is a famed throughout the cosmos place to exist, wherein some of the most incredible, valuable, and intense instances of spiritual growth can occur. Here, our seeming amnesia of God within our collective consciousness is met with an even more powerful knowingness of God and love. And between those two forces, the amnesia of God and the love and the knowingness of God, there is a desire and a yearning to know and create and give birth to God, and that is pure magic. So this realm is a beautiful thing. And again, the fear is a passing phase. It's part of a growing pain. We don't remember any part of our history, by the way, that seemed to come before this current phase in which we are capable of experiencing fear, so say the angels, because it was paradigm shifting enough to experience this shift into being able to know what fear is, to sort of become one of the pillars of consciousness through which we experience existence. And nightmares are often the places where we do battle with fear. Fear, according to the angels, is a substance that blurs and can contort our view of reality. It is almost what we could call the common ingredient within mental illness and other such human challenges. It can be passed down through generations. It can program the way that your physical body functions and influence many other things. So when your consciousness ventures into a nightmare while you are sleeping, it is like the knight in shining armor venturing into the cave of the dragon. The knight knows that it must face and either defeat, make peace with, or somehow otherwise transcend the dragon in order to preserve and uplift the path of your personal conscious growth and soul expansion in this lifetime. The act of moving through a nightmare helps your mind balance, heal, and recalibrate, especially after any traumas or highly stressful situations in your waking life. It is unpleasant, but most experiences that catalyze purging are not pleasant. Throwing up isn't pleasant, but when you are sick with the stomach flu, your body needs to purge out what's harming it. A person also usually doesn't throw up by conscious choice, just as we don't enter a nightmare by conscious choice. There's a higher intelligence that knows that the purge must occur. So the unpleasant feelings and the changes that move through us help us purge what isn't serving us. And the relief that we feel afterwards is so good. It's the real and true stuff of very real healing. So if you don't want to have nightmares, the angels ask you to invite them in. They are more than happy, they want us to know, to help guide us through these experiences so that you can overcome nightmares and transcend the need for them. I remember I used to have nightmares that would sometimes overwhelm me. When, say, for example, some threat would become so massive and scary that it would almost be too much to bear in the moment. Well, I found this so interesting, but after I began working with the angels, something miraculous started to happen in my dreams and nightmares without me even asking or intending it to. I found that when I was in a nightmare, I would suddenly remember Archangel Michael It would just spring to mind. I would suddenly think his name or see him there in the dream world. I would then remember that I was a being with spiritual abilities. And then I would create light with my hands or my heart, and then I'd blast it out into the environment of the nightmare until all the scary things had disappeared. And then Michael would escort me somewhere else in the dream world to celebrate. Another very successful way to overcome a nightmare is to just let yourself die in them. Though this might feel like an unpleasant sort of way of ripping off the Band-Aid, it really works because to die is to transcend to a new dimension. To die in a nightmare is then often to have transcended a piece of the fear. Though, of course, you'll want to examine the way that everything looked in the dream, because death within a dream can have varying purposes and meanings, which you should interpret for yourself. The interpretation of dreams is a very individualized process generally. I'm not so much a fan of dream dictionaries and that sort of thing because your consciousness has its own unique language of symbols that it has formed with the help of spirit based on your own unique individual experiences of life. And you are absolutely capable of interpreting your dreams and learning something of value from them. According to the angels, the first thing that you might consider doing in order to clearly interpret your dreams is to develop your sense of awe and reverence for the dreams that you dream. For me, just to think that we are beings capable of dreaming is enough to spark such awe, such wonder at the existence of consciousness. To really look at your consciousness and acknowledge its vast mysteriousness and allow yourself to know and feel that it is not only something that has meaning, but it also is connected to a collective eternal tapestry of consciousness that makes up the universe. To do this is to open the doors to understanding your dreams. You must first accept that. According to the angels, a method that you might consider practicing to interpret your dreams goes like this. First, upon waking, write down your dream. If you do not write it down, or if you do not tell the story right away, usually it will fade back into the mists of your subconscious mind. The more often you tell the stories of your dreams, especially through writing, the more conscious those bridges of memory that you will build in your mind will be. This practice of writing your dreams will help you to remember your dreams more clearly, of course, and it will help you to increase your chances of experiencing a lucid dream, because those bridges of memory are a two-way street. You traverse them both to remember your dreams while you're awake and to remember that you are awake while you're in a dream. So then once you've written down your dream, take a moment to notice the major characters or symbols in it. Let's say, for example, that you were riding a tricycle while bears galloped down the road beside you. Already we have several important symbolic elements just in that we have the tricycle, the bears, and the road, and you, the starring character. Now ask yourself the question, why? Why is a bear different than a tricycle and a road? Why are these things different from one another? And why also are they complementary? How do they relate to one another? And just write down your answers. Write down whatever comes to your mind, and then take a minute to simply contemplate what you wrote down. Once you've done that, then ask yourself the most important question in dream interpretation. How did these things make you feel? How did they make you feel? How did they relate to you? And then to whom did each element of the dream, including yourself, relate? So how did you relate to the bear? How did the bear relate to the road? You are drawing forth the essence of these images, exploring how you responded to them, and therein you will find their meaning. Perhaps they will point to something that you're experiencing in your everyday life. And this is very individual because the bear might be seen as amusing to one person and seen as a friend, while frightening to another person and seen as an enemy. It's totally up to you. And answering the core questions of the dream, the simplest core questions, will give you the answer of what spirit is guiding you through in your consciousness. And according to the angels, Source really does send you messages during your dreams. From the angel's perspective, when we are asleep, whether at night in our beds, or even during the day when we kind of glaze over for a moment while we're awake, the veil between the spirit world and physical world lifts while we sleep. From the angel's perspective, it is actually when we are awake that we see more asleep. Our consciousness is so open when we sleep. And when we are sleeping, the angels guide what they call the crystallization of our consciousness. They immediately go to work to help us rearrange our thoughts according to our soul's highest wishes and prayers. And they help us exactly as much as we ask or allow or want them to, and no more, so that we might commune with our spiritual origins. Sleep is so regenerative and restoring because much of it is spent in the heart of the Creator, recharging within the womb of consciousness from which we came. And as we rest in that womb, such incredible growth occurs. That's where that crystallizing of consciousness can occur. Which reminds me of, there was a German-Austrian philosopher by the name of Rudolf Steiner, who I've loved, reading his writing for many years, who once wrote about the dream world. Now, he was also someone who worked with the angels, and he even wrote and taught about Archangel Michael. Steiner discovered that there are 3 stages of sleep, as he called it, or rather 3 spiritual realms within the dream world. The first is the one we have discussed, wherein, we experience gardens of stories that grow wildly and bloom so fully that they capture our full attention and we're living this story. The second realm is deeper. Here, we are in a realm of surging light and color. Sometimes pictures might appear or messages might form from them. But here we experience them not from our ordinary human perspective as we have now, but as beings of soul, as we were before our birth and before even our conception in this lifetime. In that realm, we are united with the reality that lives in the gap between life and death and new birth. This state of sleep is, I suppose you could call it dreamless, according to Steiner, in the sense that we are no longer wandering in the story garden, but in a dimension that transcends it, that is beyond our 3D version of thought. And according to the angels, often there's actually a part of us that is walking both in the first and the second stages of sleep simultaneously. So there can be a part of us crossing the bridge between the two, wherein our dreams soak in the rich bursts of messages, symbols, stories, and meanings from the second realm and bring them over into the story garden in the first realm. Because all the realms, of course, are connected. There's doorways between them. Now, the third realm, according to Steiner, is a realm that's made of pure vibration. And we experience it as pure sound. Steiner, much like myself, had a great reverence for music. He believed that it was the stuff of the soul. And truly it is. Music, according to Steiner, is something that we pull back, we pull out of the third realm. We draw it out of the spirit dream world and give it to the waking world. Sort of like casting a fishing line out into the deepest fathoms of the ocean and pulling out some alien creature that the people of the surface have never seen before. Music, according to the angels, acts as an incredible mirror for the human soul. It is something that lulls us out of amnesia and into recognition of who we are and what we came from within Source. That's why music calls all of us so similarly. So within this third and deepest realm of the sleep world, Our soul is bathing in energy that is reforming and recreating it. It's like jumping into Source's forges of creation and seeing what shape you'll be when you come out. Steiner liked to theorize, actually, that perhaps in earlier phases of human consciousness, or earlier evolutionary forms, if human beings went into this realm in their sleep, maybe they would die, he thought. The vibrations of creation would be so life-altering that unless an angel or a Christ stepped in to wake you up and pull you from the waters to safely observe from a ship, lest you swim too deep and the waves were too strong that you'd get lost. I asked the angels about this concept, and they communicated that, yes, our consciousness has evolved over the eons, and yes, our dream world experiences have evolved with them. They explained that a soul would, of course, never allow its human life to die out before its proper harmonious time, but that, yes, the angels and higher beings do watch over our wanderings in the dream world to ensure that we play and grow in the best of ways. It's sort of like putting a little white picket fence around your backyard so that your children, while they are still very little, might play in a safely contained environment with a gentle variety of activities to explore. And if you're 3 years old, you don't likely mind this because your backyard might as well be a wild jungle of possibilities at that stage. According to the angels, in the same way, our current human dream territories are an equally stunning, sufficient buffet of options for growth and exploration. The angels want us to know that we do indeed go into the third realm of dreaming at this phase of our evolutionary spiritual growth. However, we do it to the exact extent that we need, and with the exact angelic guidance that we need, because this realm of being is currently very useful to us. It's very creative. It's a creative and transformational place. We go to it for the purpose of transformation. According to the angels, we are currently in the beginning, blooming kind of phases of ever so gradually approaching the next phase of spiritual consciousness on Earth. It is happening as slowly and imperceptibly as the blooming of a rose, but it is happening nonetheless. This is a very exciting time, I think, to be a human on this planet, because so many people are feeling drawn into the part of consciousness that the angels are currently referring to with me as the Christ crystal. The appearance of Christ energy on Earth, that is, the appearance of beings who can hold Christ consciousness while fully awake and aware, such as Jesus, has always been part of our destiny. To do this has always been part of our destiny. It is one of the most special and sacred things that we came here to do. The Christ crystal is then a place that has been instilled within human consciousness in our collective, that began to crystallize or grow once people could birth or actualize Christ consciousness while in an earthly human body. And we all gravitate towards that crystal, because instinctually, we all want to go and live inside of it and see how it will transform us. We want to know it from the inside perspective and from the outside. We are, in our own gradual little baby steps way, doing that as a collective. And when we go to the third realm of consciousness in the dream world, we are able to marinate there in that Christ crystal, if we want to, if that is indeed our purpose. In the past, I've had dream, or I guess you could call them sleep experiences, in which all there was sound. And I've heard many others tell of this experience too. Sometimes it's like a fire crackling or the crinkling of a food wrapper. Sometimes there's popping or banging or whooshing or other such sounds that kind of denote the movement of energy. And sometimes there are sounds that we could only really compare to the sound of a symphony. And in these moments, your neurons and synapses in your brain are swimming in tiny jacuzzis of dimethyltryptamine, which is a chemical that your brain naturally secretes when you are born, when you die, and in deep states of sleep. And that dimethyltryptamine also exists in ancient plant medicines that shamans have consumed for thousands of years in order to help them meet with the Creator and with Mother Earth and to learn from them. This is, according to the angels, one of the many physical components of spiritual change that can result within our dream travels. No matter where it is that we venture during our dreams, the angels wish to assure you that they are there. They watch over you with perfect love and full attentiveness. If you especially are one who finds yourself on a spiritual mission to grow and expand your consciousness, and you're actively praying for such things or practicing arts such as meditation, then the angels are likely also training you during your dreams. They often hold classes in the dream world in which they call on human spiritual students to gather together in one space and practice teaching and learning from one another. Here, the angels can give us energy attunements. They can perform healings. They can help us practice our own healing abilities. They can coach us through personal life changes as we adapt to our growing spiritual consciousness, and also give us energies that we are meant to carry into the world mind. It's like they're giving us little lanterns to carry in our hearts back into the shared world in which we all live and think and resonate in the waking world. And angels are not the only ones who visit us in the dream world. We also get to experience visits from ancestors and loved ones in heaven. These are wonderful opportunities for us to feel our loved ones just as closely as they can feel us from their heavenly perspective. They visit during our dreams to send us love, comfort, and to reach out with any messages or gifts they have for us. Usually, these are very loving and wonderful experiences, but if you experience a dream in which a loved one visits you and you have difficult emotions arise, know that according to the angels, this is your way of processing through the experience of grief or maybe other aspects of that relationship so that you can evolve through these feelings in a healthy, uplifting way. Just remember that those emotions will pass. They are in the midst of evolving. And soon your dreams with your loved ones will shift to be more and more pleasant and uplifting and just full of pure love. So many vast and wonderful experiences await us in the dream world. And to think, we spend about a third of our lives asleep. So if you live to be 90 years old, that's 30 years that you will spend asleep, wandering through these dream realms of consciousness. So it must be very important if we spend so much time there. To deepen your relationship with your dream world experiences, just start by simply setting the intention to recall them. We're setting the intention to draw the angels to work with you during your dreams. And all you have to do is ask, and the angels will show up. Or set the intention to create those stronger bridges of lucidity and memory between the different layers of your consciousness. Just holding the intention to do so. And again, as the angels taught us a moment ago, developing and cultivating your sense of reverence for your dreams. Just starting to do this will start to open the amount of awareness and intention that you bring into the dream world with you. I think it would be wonderful to go ahead and practice strengthening those bridges of awareness together in our meditation today. So go ahead and get relaxed, and you can get quiet and comfortable if you are in an environment suitable for it. And once you do that, we'll be right back after some brief messages.
Hi, this is Mary Kay with Illumined Path Life Coaching, providing you with coaching services to help you create the life you desire and achieve your goals. Learn what to do when a block comes up and how to clear it quickly. Have fun while you create the life you desire. Check out illuminedpath.com. That's ILLUMINEDPATH.com. Click on Coaching Services and fill out the form. Mention Sarah's show for a special offer. Illumined Path Life Coaching, lighting the path to get you where you want to go.
Hi, Sarah Hall here. I'm offering you a wonderful new opportunity to expose your business to my audience. Email the Bring Me to Life team at ads@sarahhall.com and let us know if you'd be interested in this special offer. You can feel great about supporting a message you believe in while bringing your own services to light. Again, email us at ads@sarahhall.com for more details.
All right. Now that you're nice and relaxed and comfortable, let's go ahead and close our eyes and take a nice long and deep healing breath. Allowing that breath to reset your body into a purely receptive state of being. Breathe in deeply, as if you're breathing in the entire current of life in the universe, and allowing yourself to float down that river. Breathe deeply and float, resting, relaxing, and feeling as light begins to fill every pore of your body, as light bathes every thought form within your consciousness, brightening your inner awareness as you sink deeper and deeper and travel farther and farther down this river of consciousness. As you breathe and relax, take a moment to notice that even this simple, relaxed, meditative state is already one in which you are dipping your toes into the dream world. Gaze down at your hands and visualize that in the palms of your hands there is a large and beautiful white and blue feather. Lift this feather and place it in the water beside you. The feather is turning bright white and blue with light, and it is making a beautiful imprint into this realm as you travel deeper and deeper within. The angels are now with you. They are lifting you up, taking your hands and leading you towards a golden, shining door of light. With your next deep, relaxed breath, walk through the doors and rest deeply, letting your consciousness sleep as you sink into a heavy, beautiful, relaxed state. Here, every particle of your consciousness is now saturated in rejuvenation. Thick, restful peace blankets your being as you walk forth into this realm to see a beautiful garden filled with light. Explore this garden of light. Notice that every flower and every tree, every blade of grass is aware and conscious, and that there is great beauty here. This is your personal dream garden, and there's so much growing here. Gaze down into your hands once again. Once again, there appears a big, beautiful feather of white and blue. Lift this feather up before you and find a place to place it within your garden. Breathing deeply, relaxing, and noticing that the feather is turning bright white and blue with light, shining and creating a big, powerful imprint here in this deep realm. We are in the gardens of the first realm of the dream world. And here the angels will guide you to place your anchor. Placing your hand upon your heart. Taking a nice, long, deep breath. And think the following thought with your inner spiritual voice. I am dreaming. I am awake in my dreams. I remember my dreams. Angels, I invite you to guide me through the dream world now. Teach me, heal me, and lead me through all the rich experiences that my soul is destined to reach. I am a dream traveler. And so it is. The angels are now placing a beautiful golden thread in your hand. The golden thread is anchored deep into the garden. Hold the golden thread and follow it back through the doors of consciousness. With each step you take walking towards the doors, you notice yourself feeling just a little more and a little more awake, lifting up out of the heavy, receptive state as you walk through the doors and walk along the riverbank, holding the golden thread of light. You can even see the tracing imprint of a feather floating in the water. As you walk past, you move back to visualizing your physical body, focusing all of your awareness here in the physical now, holding the thread and imagining that thread is resting upon your heart. Or if you would like, you can place it upon the center of your forehead at the third eye. Breathing deeply, hold the following intention. I am awake. And then with your next deep breath, you may gather your presence, gently exhaling and opening your eyes. Feeling as all of your awareness trickles back into the here and now. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. Beautiful little bridge that we made together. And thank you so much for connecting in that little exercise. And I would love to know if any of you have any interesting dreams after doing that. If you do, post them on my Facebook page or tell me on Instagram. Comment on one of the threads where we shared this show today. I think that that would be a wonderful, wonderful discussion for us to have. So now is the time to call in if you'd like to receive an angel reading, and you can call in at 240-979-6366. Again, that's 240-979-6366. You can also text your reading request to that number, or you can leave a voicemail with your question for the angels. Today, I'm going to be working with the Archetype Oracle cards by Carolyn Mace. So let's go ahead and see who would like to come through for a reading. Wonderful. We've got a lot who have texted in. Our first request comes from Frank from Denmark. He says, "Hi, Sarah. I would love to hear an angel reading about my life in general. Hugs and kisses." Thank you, Frank. Let's go ahead and pull a card for you from the Archetypes Oracle deck and see what the angels have to say. Even before I turn this card over, Frank, I'm actually feeling the presence of Archangel Ariel around you. And she is the angel of courage and strength and assertiveness, and also is an angel who likes to pull us out into nature, have us experience the beauty of nature. For you, I'm feeling her tell us that there are great things to be learned when you connect in nature, when you quiet yourself and get out into the trees and walk near the water. I feel a wonderful connection to the water and a sense that that really helps to calibrate your energy right now. The card that we have, I'm turning over. Oh, this is perfect. It's the student card. The student. So the student card is a card that represents a devotion to knowledge, this openness to kind of lifelong learning, where you're letting spirit make you an instrument of knowledge, of integrating its knowledge. And the angels are showing us that that is indeed occurring in your own life. So soak it up. The angels want you to know that specifically they are working to deliver strong messages that are meant for you in the way that your life has been growing spiritually through the pieces of media that you stumble upon. I'm seeing things like books or lectures or videos and all kinds of things like that. Those things are coming to you in divine order. And I'm actually seeing Archangel Raphael knocking those books off the shelves, so to speak, and sending you those things. So you can call on your angels to help, again, continue to guide this wonderful time of development and growth, because it is feeding your life's purpose, which is to learn and even to reflect upon what you learn. They're showing us images of you writing, and journaling and writing would be a wonderful thing to deepen in your spiritual practice as you continue to integrate knowledge. So wonderful. All right. Thank you, Frank, so much for your reading request. Lovely to connect with you. Let's go ahead and see who would like to come forward first. Okay, we've got another question coming in from George. And he is saying, "Is my next partner waiting for me already? And do I know who she is? Or will it not be anybody from my past?" That is such a good question, George. Very exciting. I always like answering the romance questions. The girly romantic in me loves that. So I'm going to pull a card for you from our Archetypes Oracle cards, and just go ahead and tune and see who's around you angelically right now guiding you. You have a good team. Our Archangel Ariel is with you as well right now. I think that she's just been working a lot lately because there's a sense of her theme of holding people's hand to help them confront what they need to see within themselves right now. And what she wants you to know, George, is that she is guiding you to look within your heart, Archangel Ariel. She's helping you to look within your heart to see what it is you need to understand or learn about yourself so that you can attract this partner into your life, because you have a soul contract with your next soulmate, wherein the two of you want to meet one another under circumstances where it looks like the both of you will have a renewed sense of understanding of what it is that you prioritize in relationships, and a really deep sense of valuing those things. So that's a wonderful thing. Self-discovery is part of this path. You also have Archangel Jophiel around you, and Jophiel is the angel of beauty, reminding you to stay very positive about this path and even to enjoy it. Jophiel is saying, enjoy the dating process. Enjoy the dating process. So she's actually pointing to the people who are already around you. And she says, they don't want to say that, the person that you're going to end up with is somebody that you already know and from your past and that kind of thing, but that it is significant for you to be connecting with those who are from your past, to be connecting with the people in your social network and circle, because that is the way that your soulmate is coming to you, that you have a realization of who she is, or she arrives in such a way where it's like it's through friends and people that you know. So learn through those experiences, enjoy dating through those kinds of experiences, and see the beauty in all of these things, because those are the real life ways that you'll find yourself shifting and transforming and preparing to invite this soulmate in. In other words, the dating is allowing you to distinguish between that which you want and don't want, so that the camera lens of your third eye is going to refocus to its sharpest focused possible, and that way you'll be able to know who your soulmate is when she walks by, and she'll know you, that kind of thing. You've got Archangel Chamuel, lastly, who is also helping you. And Chamuel wants you to know, of course, that Chamuel is the angel of helping us find relationships. It's the finding angel. Chamuel wants you to know that you are being led through very distinct and specific healing processes in your life. And this is very interesting for you, George, but they're showing us your ancestry. It's like we're going deep into your ancestral history and lineage. And the angels are showing us that there's a sense that your soul is saying, I'm here to purge something out of my lineage. I'm here to heal or clear something up so that I can get to the next level. And that when I found a partnership or the vibration that could even become family, in your future, that could have a sense of I'm affecting people around me because of the partnership and the strength of the energy that it has. It's like a crystal, that it just sets something into motion that's totally different than what your ancestors were experiencing in their relationships. So you've got a lifetime of big growth. Now, your card that I just turned over is a card called the Addict card. And don't let that scare you. It's not necessarily a bad thing, because what this archetype, what this symbol means in this case is that you're being helped to recognize and confront any old patterns, or maybe even any ancestral programming or belief systems that you are ready to clear out. So there's this cleansing phase of life that you're in right now, and that is the path. We're going through those woods to get to your soulmate on the other side, and enjoy the journey. Again, Jophiel wanted you to know that it's not all going to be hard work and discomfort. There are parts of it that can be fun and enjoyable and passionate and beautiful. So enjoy those things, George. And thank you so much for your request. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and see. It looks like we now have a caller on. Hi, caller. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us your name and where you're calling from today, you are on the air.
Hi. I don't know if it's me that you're talking about, but I'm just going to keep speaking as if it is. My name is
Yes, it is.
Bodhi.
It
I'm
is.
from Los Angeles, California.
Wonderful. Hi, Bodhi. Thank you so much for calling us today. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thank you. Always nice to hear your voice and feel the presence that just resonates out of you.
Oh, thank you. You are so sweet. Thank you. So, what would you like to ask the angels today?
I've been noticing a real joy when expressing what feels like just love wanting to pour out of my heart. And sometimes I get there's a sense of anger that comes about that doesn't feel true if I feel ignored by that person. And just wondering how this can be transcended, or any guidance around this.
Yes, that is such a great question. It's a really profound question, too, because of course we know that in the human experience, there can be moments in which we recognize and, experience great love and passion. We're in a consciousness or a mindset where we're able to, and where perhaps the other person with us, people closest to us, the person who is helping us to even realize that love, we're seeing the love in them, they don't get it. Maybe they're not at the same stage. They're not at the same kind of development. The angels are showing us that practicing the art of non-attachment in these situations is wonderful. That's a wonderful thing to do. And for you, I like this. They're saying it would be good practice to practice that in general throughout relationships, where we've got this sense of, well, when I notice the anger arising or the frustration, that it's like, oh, why can't we all see that, this is love? There's something magical here. To just say, okay, I allow it to be. I accept it. I allow it to be, and I will still love people unconditionally. In other words, I don't need maybe any other people in my life to be a certain way or to understand in a certain way in order for me to continue loving them and continue to remain in my love-based state. Because here's what the angels want you to know. Your loved ones will move more closely into realizations of love, like similar realizations of love as yours, the less we try to push them and prod them and expect them to become something different than they are. If we just simply continue beaming like a beacon of light, a lighthouse in the dark, and smiling and letting ourselves be unfazed and just be in a state of love, and I accept this, and also I trust this. I trust that whatever dynamic there is in this relationship is here for a purpose, and that's how it's supposed to be. It's okay if this other person isn't understanding or being in the same outpouring of love and recognition that I am, because, well, that's the lesson in this relationship. And certainly there are infinite other relationships in which there will be a reciprocated sense of that love being there. So that acceptance allows you to stay in a place of love instead of moving from love to anger to something else. And then that person, as you have this non-attached state, maybe they'll start to observe it. Maybe they start to observe it and they start to change, and that it could inspire them to start to climb the rungs of the ladder of consciousness, so that maybe they'll start seeing love from different angles. And this is interesting. I pulled one card for you as well, just asking the angels if they had anything else to say. And the card is the scribe card. The scribe. So the scribe is a writer, someone who writes down what their thoughts are. And the angels are saying that actually self-expression would be wonderful for this as well, because certainly it could be a tool for purging out any moments where we have those natural human feelings of frustration or anger about something. And it also gives us an opportunity to be able, in our own space, express the love. Because the reason why it's angering or it's frustrating is because but I want my love to go somewhere. I want it to have a chance to flower out in the world. That's what it's meant to do. It's here to flower and create things. So find somewhere else to let it flower and create things, and beautiful. So wonderful. Any thoughts or questions about that?
Just that it seems like at this point it's not love for a specific person or anything that they do or don't do. It's just the love for their existence, and I can imagine the freedom that I'll feel when it's just I don't feel to inhibit this love in any way, but just the freedom that can be here, when the even greater freedom when that love just gets to be expressed, and then kind of trust the love to kind of do its work, so to speak.
Yes, that's amazing. I love your reflections. I'm feeling so many guides and angels around you just beaming with happiness. So thank you for that. That's absolutely beautiful. And I think that will be an inspiration for all of us who are wanting readings today, because oftentimes the angels will bring through the people and the readings that all of us need to hear together. So thank you so much for calling today, Bodhi. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you. Love you.
Thank you. I love you too. All right, guys, it looks like we have time to squeeze in one more reading for today. So let's see. We've got a big old list of people who have texted in. And, oh, you know what? We've got somebody who is asking for a dream interpretation. So let's go ahead and see what we can make of this. This is Denise, who's requesting a dream interpretation from a dream that she had last week, where she says she witnessed a pool of dark red blood, along with some other details of her dad and her family. And she wants a little angel reading on this. So usually, Denise, again, remember that it's super good to go ahead and analyze this with the angels yourself, because it's such an enriching personal process for you to just go in with the angels and ask them about each thing and how it made you feel and how it related with you. But the angels are going to point you down the right path and helping you to do this. The angels are showing us that, yes, this dream is about family. It's about your relationship to your family. They're showing us that especially there's a connection to your dad there, because I'm seeing something particularly ancestral that's coming out of the shared consciousness in his lineage, and that's moving through what you were confronting in this dream. When we see the pool with the red blood, the angels are saying that in this case, it represents an invitation for deep change. There's a sense that the pool is showing us that there is a deep realm of learning and knowledge. And there's also this sense of being able to explore the lineage through it, because it's the bloodline that connects people, isn't it? So the angels are saying that in your dreams, essentially, there is family healing that is going on and deep learning that is going on with regard to the shared beliefs and conditioning, especially within the paternal side of your family. So go ahead and ask the angels for more information about that. Do some journaling. Go through the exercises that the angels gave us earlier in our show today, and I think that you'll have a wonderful time seeing what comes up. And for everyone else who called and texted in, thank you so much for your texts. It's always so wonderful to connect with all of you. I love you all so much, and I'm sending you angels and prayers so that each one of your questions are answered in perfect timing. And definitely text or call us in next month when we're here again. And gosh, if we keep getting so many people, we'll just have to do this more often, or we'll have to have some, live streams or something like that where we can all connect and chat. And if you are interested in that, just let me know, and we'll see how many people want to so we can organize it. We are now at the end of our show. And again, thank you for tuning in. Remember, of course, that I will be live every month on the Bring Me to Life network, bringing you our spiritual discussions and our angel messages. And you can mark your calendars for Thursday, February 21st for our next show at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and 4:30 p.m. GMT. All of the podcasts are recorded and will be available to listen to on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and Stitcher. And I will be posting the YouTube and Spreaker links for the podcast on my social media pages if you'd like to listen in again or share with a friend. So do keep in touch on social media. And if you'd like to connect with me for an angel reading or a spiritual coaching or healing session, you can visit my website at sarahhall.com. Do follow bringmetolife.com for more inspiring podcasts, inspiration, music, and so much more. All of my love and gratitude to you. Bye.